Imagine the reaction of society were it to find out that a man had impregnated his 2 daughters. Absurd. What kind of an individual does such a thing? Perhaps the worst of all sexual immorality. In Parshat Vayeira, this is in fact what happened. The Torah tells us that Lot was fleeing from the city of Sodom, which was being overturned. He was fleeing with his family, his 2 daughters and his wife. His wife had turned back and she had turned into a pillar of salt. But Lot continued the journey together with his 2 daughters until eventually they found a particular place, a cave, where they spent a couple of nights. And there Lot had got drunk and he had impregnated both of his daughters. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein tells a fascinating story of a particular event that happened to him personally when he was in Russia. Rav Moshe tells, and the story is documented in the Igrot Moshe, volume 8, page 15, where Rav Moshe was told of a sick man who was now in hospital due to a particular disease for which the doctors could find no cure. His tongue had swelled up, was apparently lying outside his mouth as well. And he wished to tell Rav Moshe a story that had happened to him. Rav Moshe ran over as fast as he could to the hospital to speak to the individual. And when he got there, the man told his story. He said the previous week was Parshat Vayeira, and he decided to give a devar Torah at the table. But while he was doing so, he began to speak about the events of Lot and his 2 daughters, and this particular sexual immorality that had taken place, and how he impregnated these 2 daughters. What type of people were they? More than this, the man pointed out in his discussion that it is told in the Torah that the Mashiach, the Messiah, will come from this relationship, this forbidden relationship of the daughters of Lot. And how could this be? How could God create a world in which redemption and purity would come from such impurity? The man explained that the previous night, 2 women had appeared to him in a dream with their heads covered. He could not see exactly what they looked like. 2 elderly ladies. And they said to him, "We are the daughters of Lot, and we have heard your complaints against us. And we wish to tell you something. Everything that we did clearly for the sake of heaven. When we arrived in the particular place that we did, and we thought that the world had come to an end, and we wished to populate the world, we felt that this would be the only way we could do so. But here's the thing. We knew exactly what we were doing. And so much so, when the children were born, we named the children in a way that nobody would ever mistake the reason for their pregnancy and for their birth. We could have indeed said that as we ran from the city of Sodom and miracles were taking place, we could have said that additional miracles took place. And that night, as we were on the run, and it seemed like the world had ended, that we became pregnant naturally, perhaps from God, mystically. And that is how the world would have become repopulated. But we didn't do that. We wanted the world to know for always that there could never be such a thing as a child coming into existence because of a miraculous pregnancy with nobody involved. And so therefore we gave the children names so that the entire world would know who their father was and the terrible act that we did. Of course, that we did for the sake that it should be, that there would be a world that we populated. It was for a good purpose. It wasn't for a derogatory purpose. It wasn't just following our instincts. And that is what happened to us. But you, the daughters of Lot said to this man, have judged us unfavorably. And as a result of speaking slanderously against us in your assumptions as to what we did and why we did it, you have been afflicted with a disease, a mortal disease, from which there is no cure. And that is why your tongue has now expanded as it has. And this man told Rav Moshe this fascinating story of what happened to him. And when he completed the story, he turned his face towards the wall and immediately he expired. The story is an amazing story, a very deep one, a very mystical one. But whatever you get out of it, and please take whatever you can out of it, one thing that we can definitely learn is that when we see things around us that we might not understand, there might well be additional reasons as to the events taking place. Sometimes we see people behaving in certain ways that look incorrect to us, perhaps inappropriate, maybe even disgusting, and we begin to make our judgments against them, our assumptions that what they're doing is wrong, evil, bad, but we do not know what the situation really is. Let us remember that since we do not know exactly why everybody does what it is that they do, that the one thing that we need to think about is perhaps there is something deeper going on, something mystical in creation taking place. Perhaps, in fact, the very things that are going on before our eyes are things that are taking us to an even greater level. Perhaps the thing that is so misunderstood, perhaps that thing is the very thing that is going to lead to the coming of Mashiach. And let us be aware that our false judgments may not be appropriate and we could be held liable. Instead, let us try to find out what the other is doing, perhaps why they are doing it, to judge them favorably, to make a better world. So in the result, we can bring Mashiach and bring freedom and redemption to this world. Thank you for joining me. I'm Eliyahu Shear from Chesed Ve'emet, my website, www.lovingkindness.co. If you've enjoyed the story, please do hop on board, like the video, subscribe, and share the video with others. Please feel free to make positive comments below. Negative comments are generally deleted, spam, etc. But please feel free to make your comments. I do enjoy reading them and responding to them. Visit my site, and if you'd like to learn Torah with me one-on-one, please be in touch. I also teach Sofrut, and I'm also involved in life coaching for those who are seeking a path in life and looking for some direction. I'd be delighted to help you. So be in touch, and I look forward to hearing from you in the near future. Take care. Shalom, shalom. Bye-bye.